Hello, welcome back. It's time for us to get our hands dirty with some code. Yes, it's Charles once more, and I am here to show you some very cool things you can do with the Scratch programming language. Yes, it's a visual language that uses blocks to build programs that can tell our sprite and by extension our computer what to do. Alright, so in the last video we gave a kind of background for the game we wanted to create. We called it the Star Chase. We said there would be an octopus sprite and a star or a starfish. The octopus would be chasing after the star, and each time it hits or gets in contact with the star, it gets a point. So our player would be able to control the octopus. Alright, so the first thing I would like to do is to create the background for our sprite. But this time we might not need the cat since it's going to be an underwater adventure. So kitty cat, thank you. You've been really supportive. Okay, now let's change the background. So to change the background we need to choose a different backdrop for our stage. Alright, so since it's underwater, we'll simply make our search easier. By clicking on underwater, we could choose this or this. Okay, let's choose underwater 2. Lovely scene, isn't it? Alright, so let's go add our octopus sprite. We'll choose a sprite this time. And do we have underwater? Okay, let's just go for animals. Alright, so let's look out for the octopus. Okay, we have a jellyfish there. An octopus should be somewhere. Okay, I have my starfish. Okay, but I need a star. Alright, so let's go to all and let's search for the octopus. Alright, so we have our octopus right there. Nice one. Okay, so we'll be moving our octopus nicely around the screen. Alright, next we need a star. Yes, we need a star. We need a star. Okay, so we're gonna search for star, make things easy. So yeah, okay, so we have our star. Each time our octopus hits the star, bing, it gives us a score. Alright, so let's sort out our score. Yes, I think we should start with that. So how do we add scores to our games to make them have this competitive edge? Okay, so the player feels like, alright, I am I'm making progress, or not making so much progress by what the score I get, or the score I'm seeing. Alright, now where do you think you would find score among all these? Now remember what score is. Score is a value, right? It's a number, right, that increases over time. And in programming or coding, whenever we want to deal with numbers, numbers come under what we would call data. Okay, now data category, we had data category in version 1. Okay, if you have version 1, you could just quickly open it up and check it. There's a data category. However, in subsequent versions up to version 3, we have variables category, once you click it, you'll see that there is already a variable for you. Okay, so we could simply change the name of this variable, or we could create a new one. All right, so I'm going to change. Let's see if I could rename this variable. Okay, so I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to call it score. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to call it score and hit OK. All right, now I called it score. If you notice, Scratch has updated every other thing that had to do with my variable. All right, now I only need my score variable. If I need a new one, I'll simply make a new one right here. All right, so now I have created my score variable. Once I drag it and drop it in here, Scratch automatically adds it here. Now if you notice, there's a checkbox, there's a box right beside the score variable. What that tells Scratch when you select the checkbox, or when you click on the checkbox, is that you want score to be displayed on the screen. Yes, of course. Of what value would that be if you had a score that could not show on the screen? So we're going to click on that, and you can see score nicely showing with the 0 right there. Now we would when we create our games, we're going to always want score to start from the beginning, right? So let's take note of that. Now let's whip up some code for our sprites, shall we? So to create code for our star, which is currently created, remember the star is moving randomly across the screen, and the octopus is us trying to catch up with the star, and each time we catch up with the star, we get a point. Okay, that's the brief aim or the goal of our game. Okay, so for us to do that, we would be animating our star. We would want our star to move around. So the first thing we're going to do is to come to the events and, you know, drag our popular block, our when flag, green flag clicked block. Next, we're going to have the forever loop. Okay, now why do we need the forever loop? You know, why don't we just use a repeat 10? Now the reason why we need the forever loop is because if we need this to happen all through the game, okay, we don't want it to stop. We want it to happen all through the game till the game ends. All right, or till we want to end the game. Okay, so we use the forever loop. Remember, a repeat loop is kind of limited because it's going to only do it the certain number of times you specify, which could equally be like almost like forever if it's if it's a huge value, you know, like 1 million. Just saying. All right, now I have my forever block here, nicely sitting underneath the when green flag clicked. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to create a kind of atmosphere that tells us that we're underwater. Okay, now how do we create that atmosphere? We need to play some bubble sounds. Okay, so I'm going to go right here on the sounds, and I'm going to add the bubble sounds. All right, I already have a collect sound here. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, so that's going to help us for the star. Anytime we collect the star, it's going to show that we've actually hit the star. But let's add another sound, shall we? So we come to choose a sound, and we go for the bubbles. Alright, so let's quickly go for bubbles, 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 bubbles. Where's bubbles? Where's bubbles? Alright, that's good. So bubbles simply shows that we're under water. Yeah. In our next video, we will be adding the bubble sound to the project, so I need you to stay tuned. Don't miss it. See ya. Bye.